Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scene for Darkness in Dublin, the Mage venue. As Callie walks home, she opens the door to the bookstore and kind of leans against one of the on the counter, kind of rubbing her face before going upstairs. But she kind of waits around and kind of just watches as she kind of just rubs the good side of her face, just staring out the window, really, just watching people watching, essentially, just frustrated, but she keeps calm, just watching, really, waiting to see does anyone come in.
She sees Edward just kind of walking close by to the door outside the window.
Kind of tilts her head.
He finally opens the door. Oh, hey, Callie. He says through his
Hi.
phone.
Hi. Were you looking for something?
Oh, I was simply accepting your invite to talk about.
Oh, yes. Yes. Nod. Okay. Well, come on. Come on in. She'll start walking, past the book aisles and kind of gesture up a flight of stairs.
He walks.
She comes in what looks to be like a kitchen type, living room type thing. She
Mm-hmm.
will look over. Do you want tea?
Yeah, I would love some.
She takes out 3 mugs, puts the tea bags in, pours it, gestures him to sit down on the couch and puts the 2 one mug in front of her, 1 mug in front of him, and just sits down. So, how long is that voice going to be gone?
Either until I can find a way to win it back from that stupid fox, or ... get a spirit to just be my voice for a bit.
Do you know where the fox is?
Nope. So I'm going plan B.
I see. She'll shake her head, smiling a bit. Well,
I kind of like type in my phone very vigorously with this evil smile on my face. Won't that dumb fox spirit be pretty surprised when I come back to him with a voice?
spirits are not things to idly piss off.
Eh, it'll just be a minor victory.
Hmm.
Make me feel good.
Just shrug. Or you could hunt him down and make him give you your voice back.
Yeah, but I mean, based off of the bad luck that he's already brought me, I can only imagine there are going to be a lot more than that.
Just shrug. So you had questions then?
Yes. So you guys essentially, since you are the co-head, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the who's the other leader?
Morgan?
Oh, I see. So what exactly is the verbena about?
The verbena. We celebrate life, but we also celebrate life and death together. We celebrate the old ways, the gods, the way they are, and the trees, the woods. We preserve it. Preserve it in a way that we're still attuned to it, even though the magic in the world is awakened. There's older magic that's still there, and we tap ourselves in and commune with it in order to best serve.
I see. That's very cool. So what god do you serve or believe in?
I am. I'm the daughter of the goddess Hel from the Norse pantheon.
I see. Well, I guess that's one thing we have in common. I guess.
She'll
What do you
nod
know?
slowly. I see. Colin, no, she'll say Morgan is the daughter of the Celtic goddess, the Morgan.
He kind of just snickers at that without saying anything.
But we all worship different faiths, but come under the same circle.
And that's why it's called quote unquote Team Pagan.
That's why it's called, we call each other covens as well, but it's more that we understand that each of the gods and each of the pantheons communicate in different ways. And we
I
commune
see.
together, we create a more powerful force.
I like it. Very cool.
We do our best. We have been demonized before. As you probably saw earlier, the rabbi has certain opinions of our tradition.
Yeah, I saw you get pretty, mm, better words to say, flustered at that situation.
There's no point in bringing up past grievances of a time when things like that were more common. What's happening right now is the more pressing issue, rather than redig old wounds to try and justify your needs. I don't agree with it.
I get what you mean.
Just shrug absent-mindedly. But for Benna, we've always been not afraid to go into war. Not afraid of that. Blood is life. Sometimes you have to spill it in order to see it.
He just kind of looks down at his own arm with like, please don't kind of look.
I won't. You've not violated my hospitality.
Yeah, about that. He types with like a little bit more dreadful look on his face. We're cool, right?
She'll stand up very calmly. She doesn't look angry, and she kind of walks over to the microwave, opens up and puts a bag of popcorn in it, switches it on, walks back and sits down. If we were not, you would know, and you would not be here in my home.
Very well. I'll take that. He just kind of smiles.
Hmm.
Mentally, there's an image in his head of just like, yes, no more stabs.
So as the microwave goes, and you start hearing, that merry little pip popping noise, and the smell of, that too much butter, like when you buy the quote movie butter packs of popcorn, like that starts wafting out. And this is where finally Morgan makes an appearance. She basically, as he sat there and he's talking, he's facing, just happens to be facing this direction, the living room, and as the door opens, there are two things of note. For one, as he can glance through the open doorway, he just happens to be facing it. It's pretty clear that that is the bedroom. Like that's probably Callie's bedroom right there.
Okay.
More noteworthy is the fact that Morgan is walking out the door, buck ass naked,
Ah.
completely
Oh,
casually, just buck ass naked. She does shoot Kyler a just kind of a curious glance when she realizes or not Kyler, sorry, Edward. A curious glance when she realizes there's more than one human-shaped figure in the living room. She actually briefly seems a little startled because there's usually two figures around. Edward is not usually one of them. For note, though, since she is, in fact, completely buck-ass naked, the eye that is usually covered is not. And it's rather distinctive.
lovely.
But yeah, she just kind of emerges. There's a very brief pause as she processes who exactly is sitting in the living room. But it's not like she recoils and gets self-conscious or anything. She just glances, shrugs, and just strides through the room in her birthday suit, heading for the kitchen and that popcorn, which is finally starting to like slow down on the popping, which means that it is almost time. Almost time for her to eat molten hot popcorn. And as she passes through and into the kitchen, at which point he'll get a glance at her back, starting at about the top of the shoulder blade and kind of running down in lines to either side of her spine, like easily down past her hips, like almost all the way onto her rear, are two very, very deep-seated, very gnarly but very straight lines of scar tissue.
Okay.
It's for the sake of like helping you visualize. It's almost like if you imagine someone having wings torn off of their back. Really,
Yeah.
it's that kind of a line. It's not exactly something you would
So if you
necessarily
ever
assume.
like Lucifer on Fox, if anyone's ever seen that show,
I have not.
it's a
I
great
would have
show.
to. I'm gonna have to go look at that now to see if I can use it as a reference for people.
I'll send you a picture later.
Yeah, but yeah, she wanders through, and yeah, she just casually goes to. Finally, you hear her popping open the microwave. You can hear the paper ripping, and you can hear like mild cussing as she's like, "Ugh, fuck, steam." Duh. Obviously, trying to eat the popcorn without giving it a second to air out.
As uh, as Kelly just kind of turns her head back to Edward, his face is just like flushed and blushed at the same time. You can't tell if it's white as a ghost or as red as blood. Like he's just like okay.
There's a smirk on her face. Like I said, we celebrate life here. Why be afraid of flesh?
He just kind of scratches the back of his neck and just like kind of he can't speak, so he's just he whenever someone goes that kind of like face, it's kind of like that. Like he doesn't exactly know how to speak in this situation. He's never been in that situation.
She'll call in to Morgan. Edward had some questions about us.
Yeah,
He's been polite.
she will emerge with that third cup of tea and the bag of popcorn, and she's still just not like showing off or anything, just very casually and very comfortably naked, just saunters in, kind of plops her butt on the arm of Callie's chair and twists herself around so that her legs kind of pop up onto the other arm of the chair, so that she can plop the bag down on her crossed legs, and Callie can reach it too. Keeps the tea in her hand. Uh, but still is just kind of. I mean, she's not insanely attractive. Her appearance score isn't that high. She's reasonably fit, but it's nothing crazy. She is not a porn video. Uh, and she just glance over. Um, Thankfully, with the good eye being closest. Questions like what?
He's just like kind of covering his face with like one hand as he types with the other. Um, and after a good little bit longer, because typing with one hand while extremely blush is a little bit harder, he's like, "So, what's your god like?"
By time he does, like, I assume he has to glance up or show his phone or whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
Morgan's
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Morgan's looking pretty fucking amused. If only because the poor guy can't decide whether to go pale or go red. It's the face covering is just it's adorable. And so she
Think,
has been munching popcorn with a slowly growing smirk.
just think about like the middle finger and the ring finger like up on the bridge of his nose, and then like his index finger on his right eye and his pinky on his left eye is just kind of like that.
If I didn't want you to see, you wouldn't be able to, right?
He just like he also types on his phone after that. You realize I kind of really haven't left my room in 14 years, therefore not giving myself this kind of yeah. I don't see many people, especially like this.
Morgan continues munching. The grin is still growing. Oh, poor guy. You telling me in all that time you've never even watched porn?
He types in with like an exclamation point. It's different. But that kind of sass. The Stephen
She's
Hawking voice has that
like
kind of sass.
5 exclamation points. There's a 1 in there. Like,
Yeah. Basically.
she actually starts snickering.
He's like, I've only been, and he types in again, I've only been with one woman, and that was 1 week ago. Okay?
She like leans over to Callie, and it's not that quiet. I'm not gonna make you like roll to hear it and be like, I bet you $10 he gets a nosebleed.
$10. Oh.
Like, just still grinning. Very cheeky.
You know what? I'll go ahead and do it.
What?
He looks up for a second, and you just see an anime nosebleed come out as he falls. No, I'm kidding. That'd be amusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of types in again. So, what exactly do you mean by celebrating life as well as death?
We celebrate every phase of life for what it is.
Tree goes in the forest as a young sapling, till it grows to a mighty oak, till it finally falls down and provides its place for animals to grow, while the tree itself decays into the earth, beginning the cycle again.
I
We
see.
can celebrate the innocence of a child. We can celebrate the vigor of youth. We can celebrate the wisdom of age. We celebrate all of it.
So, off the note question, besides your tradition, have you guys met your parents exactly? Well, at least the non-normal one.
I haven't seen my mother in a very long time.
Yeah, Morgan just pulls a very casual nope. Pops a piece of popcorn.
So Callie has, but Morgan hasn't. So Callie, how did you go about doing that exactly?
When I awakened, that was the last time I saw my mother.
He kind of just thinks back in his head, see if anything like that happened for him, but can't recall such information.
Why, are you looking for yours?
Kinda. I found my father and the rest of my family, but I don't know. It'd kind of be nice to see the woman who gave birth to you, I guess, is a way to put it. Wouldn't you agree?
You'd think, right? Pops another piece of popcorn.
Just nods slowly. Although I do have my uncle.
How did that go?
She whistles, and this Alaskan Malma pup just plops into her hand, stares at the new man with this. He's an adorable looking pup, but his stare is intense. She just scratches the back of his ears. This is Fenrir.
Pug?
Morgan like shuffles her legs a little bit out of the way to make room. In fact, probably puts them down so that, her feet are on the floor instead of across Callie's lap so Fenrir can hop up. She gives him a piece of popcorn too. She can share.
This
He
is
kind
Fenrir.
of covers
Fenrir.
his face a little bit more.
This is Fenrir. My mother's brother. Fenrir is the Dreadwolf.
He scratches his head while staring at what he assumes to be a dog.
The tiniest, fluffiest Malamute
It's like
pup.
Yeah, essentially. Hang on, I have a picture of him somewhere.
Wait.
So just think about this. Edward reads a lot of poetry and history books, and so he's imagining this giant great wolf Fenrir who's supposed to bring out this big war, and he just looks down at this really fluffy furball, and it's just his face is confused and blushed at the same time. He doesn't know what to do.
Yes.
That's so cute.
That is Fenrir. The mighty Fenrir.
A mighty.
He pops back into the other room. You'll hear, "Why is this one speak?" He speaks with his deep, booming voice. "This one speaks funny." Plops off. Pause. Pads back into the other room.
Now Edward's face is filled with horror. That's a really
worry
deep
if he was
voice for
upset.
such a fluffy dog.
He's Fen. She shrugs. He's Fenrir. He'll grow eventually.
Okay. Do you think Aru would have a good time with Fenrir?
No. No. Fenrir is not good with others. Nods sagely to herself.
Thankfully, he can't reach Kelmore. The few times that Kelmore decides to show up, she kind of eyeballs the window, suspicious like.
That crow is quite troublesome.
You're telling me?
Hmm.
You've only had to listen to him like what? Twice now?
He doesn't bother me.
Oh no, you were incidental. An innocent
by the way,
casualty. Hmm?
Callie, I never, or not Callie, Morgan, I never thanked you for something.
Oh yeah?
And he just points to his wrists as if insinuating the cops. Like he kind of like buckles his wrists.
Not the highest favor I've ever paid out. Besides, he was gunning for it anyways. Continues popping popcorn.
He kind of does what seems like a laugh, but then realizes no noise comes out, so he just hangs his head low again.
Needy creature. Entertaining,
So,
but very needy.
what exactly do you guys do?
I run a bookstore.
Well, I mean that part's obvious.
So what do you mean? What exactly do we do?
On more of the mage type thing. Ordeal. I've heard about quite a lot of stories involving you guys, but never quite like a solid answer of what you guys are particularly into.
Oh, I bet those are compelling. Pop some more popcorn.
Yeah, I could write a book on a few. This is definitely going to go into a more privatized section of the library, as he kind of just points to this current situation.
Nods. I'm more tuned to the spirit world.
He lifts an eyebrow.
I can traverse into what they call the Umbra and the Shadowland.
Ooh. He raises his hand in excitement, kind of points to himself.
Oh, look, he's so excited.
You can do that?
He nods his head.
Can you hear them?
He nods his head.
Nods. I can also manipulate time and patterns of space. And, of course, life.
He types in on his phone that I can go into this Umbra place. I can talk to spirits, I can see spirits, I can hear them, as well as turn invisible and teleport, but I haven't quite mastered the teleportation part yet. Last time I tried, I went into some random bar and broke a lot of stuff. Whoops.
It's tricky. Do nod.
Yeah, Morgan kind of leans over and, her lips firm into a line on that. You should be mindful of that until you've mastered it. She kind of gives her head a shake. Popping into somewhere out of nowhere is, upsets reality in ways, and it upsets people in ways. And we do have rules.
I believe it was a mage bar, if I was not wrong.
Then you're lucky.
Dude seemed normal about it.
Then you're very
offered
lucky.
Curry. and a place to sleep.
Then you're very, very lucky.
A more unlucky person might have ended up in an unsavory place full of magical people, or I don't know if it's even worse than that, but a mundane bar. At which point, well, first off, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you do things that are too blatant, reality has a way of reaching out and smacking you on the back of the head for it. Never mind that people would go into a fucking flurry, and we really don't need to be cleaning up after that.
So about this whole reality thing, can you tell me more about that and the uses of magic? I'm a bit, well, for lack of better terms, new, as you guys can quite tell.
Magic is a tool and a gift given to us by the gods. We have to use it in ways that benefit, but also we have to be careful in the way we use it. Bend reality too much, and the cycle has to realign itself.
It snaps back into place, and it smacks you for trying.
I see.
Never
So I
mind
have
that,
gotten
as I said, when it comes to humankind, when it comes to sleepers, to people who aren't aware and aren't awake, seeing something like that, it upsets things. And it upsets us.
I see.
Logically enough, we can't exactly be out in the open with this.
I can understand that. I mean, that would kind of break the illusion of reality, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just?
Hmm.
There's a lot of things you can get away with, but you have to be clever enough to do things that don't upset the idea of reality, that don't upset what is normal too much. The
So
more you
doing
try to bend things in a flagrant way, the harder and more likely that you're trying to bend reality means it will snap back into place. And it's like a guitar string snapping. It'll hit you and it'll cut you.
he types back, I've never learned to play guitar.
She shrugs, neither have I. But there's some gnarly videos on YouTube of people getting snapped in the face by a snapped guitar string. Grins.
He smiles and chuckles, but no noise comes out, so it's really awkward.
Still popping popcorn. Nim 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 nim.
Okay. So this paradox thing, how I understand the basis of it, but how do I exactly get rid of it?
Don't do magic. Or, well, no, she doesn't know he has a familiar, so I will not say that, but
No, I know it. He knows his familiarity does it.
yeah.
Sometimes it's better to let the body be purified of it. Don't use magic for a while and let your body heal.
I see.
It does build up otherwise. It's dangerous. Very dangerous. It can manifest in strange ways. It can backlash on you. It can kill you. Don't let it build up.
Hmm. Okay. So, for the verbena, what are your goals?
To endure.
Is that
Our
just
God,
a statement?
our gods have been here since long before these, and before the Christian God walked the earth. We endure.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, we maintain. There are natural cycles that simply must continue cycling. We ensure that they do and that nothing sets them off track.
Hmm. Okay. I see. By the way, I must apologize to you, Callie. as he kind of just puts his hands together and then like puts them to his chest. I didn't mean to insult you with that. With well, the first comment I ever said to you.
Your apology is accepted.
There's another kind of muffled snorting noise. And entertainment, for what it's worth. Morgan does have a tendency to just seem entertained more than annoyed. Usually.
I don't wish to burden on you guys. That was never my intention.
Wow. That is good, at least. At least you are learning to take responsibility for the things you do. It shows that you're learning about what it means to be part of, well, traditions.
Besides, it's not as if you were the first one to say something mind-bendingly stupid. Or accuse or imply that we were something distasteful.
He kind of just remembers the rabbi.
And you won't be the last.
Kylie just takes a breath and takes a sip of her tea.
This is quite a lovely little place. It's about the size of my apartment, if I do say so.
I keep it functional. Something to be comforted in.
I like it. She does a no shit blatant eyebrow waggle.
I see it fits your needs, Morgan.
Oh, don't it just?
Clearly.
But I don't live here. I have a place of my own. And a job of my own. It's not a conventional one.
He just, as she says that, he can only really think of one thing, so he just kind of does like one quick scan, and he's just like, not a conventional one? With pauses in between each syllable.
She kind of glances at that and kind of quirks a brow, trying to decide what he like if there's an implication. But thankfully, let me throw a peony just to see what happens, because let's see if she can pick it up. See if she's with it. God, these. Oh, I need to migrate my sheet. It's so bad. Oh, that's right. My stellar pool for this. Oh yeah. Oh, she does. Kind of eyeballs that and thinks about it, digests it for a second, and then kind of starts snickering. No. No. Cute, but no.
Kind of wipes the sweat off his like forehead, like, huh, okay.
Besides, nobody could afford this ass. No.
His eyes widen again.
No, I assume we went into this, kind of glances over to Callie, but we do follow our own pantheons, and it's not just mages that still believe. So I lead people who believe in the same gods and goddesses that I do.
And yours was of which belief again?
In the Celtic pantheon.
Celtic. I see.
We are, after all, she kind of leans over a little bit, in Ireland.
He does kind of just like nod his head to the side, like, yeah. He types in on his phone, does that mean I'm Greek? With a question mark?
I would hope you would know.
He just kind of shrugs his arms up. I don't know. I wasn't even born naturally.
I mean, do you remember your birth?
No, but my father told me of it in explicit detail, and I was very curious. So, he's going to begin typing, and I want you guys to actually. Okay, so this is how Adam described it to me. So actively picture this in your minds. I'm going to tell you what I thought when Adam said this. Okay.
I mean, just tell
Okay.
us what he is typing exactly.
Yeah, I will. He's typing. So my dad said that when he was worshiping the goddess that he was at the time, he would have a shrine. And in the shrine, he would do his rituals. And he just kind of like has this weird, odd expression in his face. If he's like, I'm not even sure how this is physically possible, but okay. Um, he says their spirits did the thing. And then after so long, I apparently popped out of the shrine. Like, materialized. And I don't know how to take that.
Shrug.
Low key, when Adam was telling me that, in my mind, all I could think was brick pussy. I was just like, oh my god. I was birthed out of a wall, he types. How does that work? Does that explain why I'm naturally brick-headed?
Callie actually does chuckle a bit at that, like. That was pretty funny.
He smiles.
So have you thought about the tradition yet?
Yes, I just recently confirmed my joining of the Cult of Ecstasy.
She leads back, kind of looks at Morgan like,
He smiles. I have a library card. He feels proud of that.
well, I wish you luck. He just says quite genuinely.
He bows his head, as if to take that.
Just looks over her shoulder at Morgan. Cult of Ecstasy. Lottie is decent. She's a bit hot-headed, but she's like a shrug. I suppose that's in some of us.
He kind of just looks at Callie, and Morgan just kind of laughs at the whole scenario.
She raises an eyebrow.
He types. This is just, I don't know, odd situation, I guess. Not my normal day-to-day routine.
You need to get out more.
Yeah, he shrugs and just gives that yeah kind of look.
She shrug. You're joining the Cult of Ecstasy. From what I hear of them, they're even worse than Morgan and Collins and myself. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean in terms of your blushing. You're going to probably have to get used to that.
He's really only blushing because of what he knows of Morgan being like how she acts and stuff like that. He's not used to her being in like this kind of like exposed way.
It's funny because she holds herself with the same kind of casual confidence as she does when she's wandering around with her eye patch and this ridiculous spearhead she wears and all that other stuff. It's just...
It's more of the flicking off kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't expect her to be this like, oh yeah, casual, you know. Eh. In his mind, he was expecting her to be a bit more like, what are you doing in here?
What made you join the Cult of Ecstasy?
He types in, it's more of just we see eye to eye in how we see this world, if that makes sense. We both see everything as essentially an illusion.
Nod of the head.
Hmm?
Like, okay. And how long did you take the time with this? Like, did you actually meet with the...
You're about to give him some dreadful looks in his face if you finish that sentence.
Did you meet with the... I believe his name is Siren.
He nods his head.
Just nod. Well, at least you showed actually doing your research and all that.
He kind of like looks at his arms and then like kind of like measures up his stomach as if to like say, yeah, he's a bit injured.
Yes.
He kind of like though does have like a look of relief as he is the only NPC who hasn't tried to actively kill him.
Siren has a lot of injuries and he forsakes a lot of personal boundaries, I've noticed.
Yes.
That can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yes, I've also met with a few other leaders of the traditions besides you guys. And he just kind of has like this shudder in his very existence whenever he thinks of Gravedigger.
Who have you met?
Uh, I've met this one lady who threatened to kill me with fireballs as she flicked some,
Enough, Ray.
um, I've met a gentleman who ended up breaking the walls of his club and threatened if he ever see me again that he will make sure he drags me down to hell screaming.
Eyebrow raise? And who said that?
He's like, he just kind of types, but Stephen Hawking's voice is like very deep and low at this part. He goes, Gravedigger.
Okay, well, she kind of
That's
frowns.
confusion later.
Gravedigger is not a member of the traditions.
I was told to see him about joining the Hollow Ones. Clearly, that was not the path that was meant to be.
What did you say that he was going to try and kill you? She's gonna lean forward curiously.
He told me that if he ever sees me again, he's going to drag me to hell, kicking and screaming. Does that not count as
Why?
killing?
Why?
Oh, let's. Apparently, my past did not settle with him. He asked me a question. I told him honestly. He did not like my honest answer.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was very unhappy with it. I think
It looks over at Morgan.
There's another idle shrug. She's poking at the bottom of the bag, trying to find, when you get to the end and it's like, there's a couple viable pieces down there. So, commit any heinous atrocities?
kind of just thinks a little bit on how to extract. He just kind of shrugs his shoulders. He doesn't know if the word heinous would apply to it.
Obviously enough that Gravedigger thought that he should swear unholy wrath upon you.
Now, I'm kind of curious how it pisses him off that bad. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't want to put you guys in the same situation that I got myself into. I'd rather not give you info to make him the most mad.
Or give us info to keep us from making him the most mad.
Why do I have a feeling that you're going to use this against him?
I have no interest in Gravedigger or his schemes.
I simply told him about a past problem I had with my family, and apparently he also had somewhat of the same problem with his family, and he did not like the way I went about mine.
Very dedicated non-answer. Nods head.
That's all I really know. I don't know exactly what his problem with his family. All I know is that he had somewhat the same problem I did.
I'll dig it out of you later.
Oh, you can try, but I honestly, from the way he reacted, I don't want to lose you guys as friends too.
I feel like openly admitting to having some deep, dark secret is not exactly the best way to avoid it.
I mean, you did ask why he said he would kill me, so. But besides that, because I prefer not to dwell on things, I've also met the what's his name? The one that Kevin is with.
Sideshow.
Yes, I've met him.
She kind of thinks on it for a second, trying to remember if he was there either the time she was.
No, you are not.
And how did that go exactly?
Oh, he went very well.
Really?
He told me to say hi to Siren for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of impression did you get on how he felt about Siren?
Um, deepest regards is what he said to, and I quote.
There's kind of a squint. What he said and what he meant may be two very different things.
Maybe, but I wasn't going to question the man. I was told not to. I was told it would be a very, very bad idea to do anything but bow. So I did. Apparently, people are very surprised that I'm not dead after speaking to him. Do you guys have the same opinion? He kind of like quirks his head.
Morgan blinks a time or two. Who?
A lot of people say that they're surprised that I'm not dead after meeting Sideshow. Do you guys have the same opinion?
Slightly shrug. I will keep my opinion on Lord Sideshow to myself.
Is he known for killing people? Question mark.
As I said, I will keep my opinion of Lord Sideshow to myself. It's better. You are young and brand new. I do not wish to taint your opinions over my personal feelings towards another tradition, Ed.
I mean, I'm not that young, he types.
To
New.
this, yes. To this, young, I mean as in fresh. It is better that you gain your own perspective on the tradition leaders before you be influenced by other people around you.
I see. I've also met Eliza, who I believe is from the leader of, or from the, I can't remember what they were called.
Etherites.
Yes, that one.
She's a good woman.
Oh, she just kind of laughed at me the whole time.
Just smile. She's easygoing.
I can tell. So, do you guys want to know any information from me at all? Since it would be kind of a fair trade-off since you guys are helping me.
What do you intend to do with yourself in the city?
Um, that's a good question. I haven't really decided yet. I have a current goal, but I mean I guess it's kind of helping out the city. I mean, if you guys want to know, if you guys don't really care, it's cool.
Just nods. Well, what are you going to do about the current conflict?
I don't know much about it. I'm hoping to study more up on it so I can be more of a potential player in it.
Nods. On the side of peace or the side of war?
Mm, I'm gonna try to preserve as much peace as possible. War is fun and all, but if avoided, it's best.
War's fun. Looks over at Morgan with an amused eyebrow. It's just amused, you know.
I mean, Morgan's grinning up a storm. She folds up that popcorn bag and flicks it over onto the coffee table. I can't say he's wrong. You're looking at the wrong person.
He just kind of looks like, what did I say?
Oh, you haven't said anything. I'm just surprised. I'm not offended. I'm from my people are a warlike people.
See, the problem here, and we'll have to do some catching up. She reaches over and just, very surprisingly tenderly, pulls back a bit of Kelly's hair, tucks it behind her ear. But if someone's suing for war or for peace, when these people have made such a point of gunning for war and sowing hostility and creating violence, well, we'll just have to have words, won't we? I'm not about to be denied now.
We're going to have a talk.
I'm not going to be denied now.
I'm not saying the rabbi said some things.
Oh, did he?
We kill babies.
Oh, is that so?
He preached his Christian proverbs to me.
Christian?
Well, we should turn the other cheek. Let those without sin cast the first stone.
Funny coming from a rabbi.
He just
But
kind of
like I said,
like, I don't know what's going on.
like I said,
Funny coming from someone who was targeted. Really adorable, but not happening. I'm not getting blue balled now.
like I said, according to him, the Verbena Archmages sacrifice babies, and we should also think of that towards the Templars, because thousands of years ago, our ancestors did the same thing.
But they did it like yesterday.
He's
Like
just
I
kind of
said.
tapping his middle finger, like his pointer fingers together, like right in front of him, like, okay.
Didn't they
We'll talk
literally
about
have
it.
to do...
We'll talk about it later. Just pat Morgan's leg.
She kind of waves a hand in front of her face, kind of like dismissing smoke kind of thing, like just waving away the whole conversation in agreement.
He kind of just looks over at Morgan, and then looks over at Callie, and then back at Morgan again, and then types on his phone with like a blush on his face. And just, instead of the Stephen Hawking voice, he just shows it to you. And it's just like, so are you guys together? With those exact faces.
I don't know, Callie. Are we? Would you say that's a thing? Would you put that label on it? She grins.
Callie just rubs the back of her head, not in an awkward way, like she's scratching an itch. Morgan and I are close. She's my cabal mate. She's my battle sister. It is not wrong to feel closeness, to share blood and life. She's mine.
At which point Morgan will, just to illustrate the point, finally gives a bit of a squirm so that she kind of bumps down that little bit of distance from sitting on the arm of the chair to like just kind of plopping herself into Callie's lap.
I would say the same of Collins too. He's mine.
He's just like scratching the side of his temple. He doesn't know how this works.
The ties we have are not the conventionally recognized and standard and approved fashion. But yes, we are tied together. All three of us.
That's kind of cool. Someone that you can always rely on, I guess.
That's the idea.
I'm learning.
Besides, a number of our practices, as we said, do celebrate life.
He's starting to get a
There's-
really bad feeling about those words now.
There's no shame in enjoying yourself and in living and in being young. And in reveling in it.
He just kind of types down to himself. I read too much manga. My mind is not what they're putting it to. So, geez, what is your take on this current war in the city?
Just a glance over to Callie. See if
Looks
she
at
has
Morgan.
any
She
bumbling.
just looks at Morgan like, you can answer first if you wanna.
They want war. They have rounded up and murdered their own people. They have made a point of trying to excuse me. Trying to rip away members of their tradition from the 9 traditions. Have tried to force them into all manner of things. This is not the first time that there has been a crusade. This is not the first time that people have decided to burn the heretic. They have hostages in that cathedral. They have people they're torturing and killing. They have people who are going along because they're afraid. And they have people who are zealots.
I see.
We believe what we believe. And she gestures between herself and Callie. But we do not force it on anyone else. Why would our gods want followers who had to be coerced?
Their leader hid in a high umbral plane while his people were being massacred.
Not
And
very
then
legal.
What did you say?
He said not very leaderly.
no,
No.
and
I
yet now
still
they
haven't
want,
seen it back yet.
and now they want peace and dare criticize others who they begged for aid. We will give them war, but they will receive nothing afterwards.
It was all fun and games to wage war until there was an enemy on the horizon, wasn't it? Or I
Precisely.
suppose technically there's still game. An archmage was sent, an incredibly gifted archmage was sent to negotiate with them, to ask for the release of the hostages. He was murdered. And one of his personal belongings was nailed to the cathedral door like a trophy. That is a declaration of war. And I will not be denied a war.
not now.
She again pats Morgan's legs. As I said, later.
You asked earlier. The Morrigan is first and foremost a goddess of war.
He just kind of looks up to her. Yeah, I'm not related to no goddess of war or murder or hell or
War
anything
is not murder.
like that. Well, I mean, he's just kind of referencing things that involve death and killing. Um, yeah, I'd say who I was born from is pretty tame. At least in those aspects. He does smile at her, though. If you guys do need any help on the front, I can bypass a lot of systems. I'm pretty good with technology, as well as my group.
I don't think it's technology that'll be the problem. I think it's magical protections, honestly.
And the seed of
see.
Prime.
Ugh.
But in terms of combat, once my blade tastes his flesh, they will feel my poison.
You have a poison blade?
Morgan does like it's the smallest motion, but it's kind of like that get more comfy squirm. But it's essentially just a little bit of motion, nests a little like more into Callie's front.
My uncle is the Yorgamander. If I did not fight the way my family fought, what use am I?
No, there's plenty of uses out there in the world.
And how
There
is
is.
that fulfilling her purpose?
I guess.
Pretending
Well,
to
as
be
long as
something
you're
you're
happy
not
doing it.
Is a vanity that only the most ignorant can indulge.
And plus, I was told by someone that they would triage the enemies that would try and murder us at our feet. When I face an enemy, they do not walk away.
He kind of just nods his head at that. Yeah, I feel.
Don't worry, the knife I put through your hand was not poisoned.
I think he would have known it by now.
You would be dead already.
He definitely nods his head. IRL thanking to God I put armor on my sheet, or else I would have gotten 6 lethal.
Yeah, it would have been a bad day.
Yeah.
Callie would just say very calmly, I do not use this poison out of fickleness. It is only when I go to war do I apply it to my blades.
It's for killing, not for making a point.
I see. Okay. Are you happy with what you do?
There is no happiness in death. It's what needs to be done. But I am happy to give life and be who I am and be with the people who I am.
Well, then that's good. And he like gives you a thumbs up.
Just looks at Morgan.
There's a delicate balance to it. Live vibrantly, die well. What more can you really ask?
He puts up his finger with like a bright expression on his face. It types on his phone. There's one more thing you could ask.
What's that?
He
Impress
raises up
me.
his tea glass. He raises up his tea glass. More tea with a question mark.
I'd call that living well. But she will actually go ahead and unfold from Callie's lap because, hospitality has been extended. And she will actually reach out to take the cup out of his hand and walk her naked butt back into the kitchen to make him some more tea.
He's very excited about the fact that he's getting more tea. Tea is his favorite drink. So, is there anything else you wanted to ask about me at all? I mean, it's only fair. I'm asking you so many questions, especially the personal ones.
I'll ask more in time. For now, I am satisfied with what I know about you.
I hope good things. He kind of just again stares at his hand.
You would know if they weren't.
Very well.
Morgan will be presumably sauntering back out. You said he's got like a text to talk type thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I hope good things. And Morgan just calmly says as she's, walking out of the kitchen, "Oh, you're a moron. But you're still learning." She'll plop the tea down in front of him and reclaim Callie's lap.
He's very satisfied as he sips it. By any chance, odd question. Do you guys have peanuts? Kind of scratches his temple.
Why?
Oro likes peanuts.
Shrugs and actually will probably just point over somewheres because, let's face it, if there is a snack food that Morgan doesn't have, you should probably die of shock.
Fair enough. He just kind of stands up and looks to where she's pointing.
There'll just be like a can of peanuts on one of the little side tables, like alongside the couch or whatever.
Nice. He grabs a few, puts them in his palm, and then just kind of throws them down his shirt as she hears some audible crunching.
Huh.
And sits back down.
Here's an eyebrow quirk.
Oh, have you not met Oro? He says with like a question mark.
No.
Oh. He kind of taps his stomach as you can see something unraveling in his shirt and like slithering down his sleeve as this kind of like snake pops out.
Eyebrows pop up and there's a glance to Callie.
Smirk.
This is Oro. He's an Oreobos.
Shrugs. She just leans back, just watching.
How about that?
He's pretty useful, I guess. He did help me break those chains, if she remembers the police thing.
You could have just not. Didn't you have something or another? Some paperwork you were waving around?
Yeah, but that was just to get them to lower their guard. I mean, I am a wanted hacker, so if I ended up going to the police station and they ended up scanning through my personal identification, they'd quickly find out.
There's
That not good.
blink or two. Then why did you wave it around at all? Lottie and Kevin were talking them down. They looked like they were
honestly
being moved by whatever it was being said. You probably wouldn't have had to deal with the station at all.
I honestly didn't hear them, I'll be honest.
It's just a look like, are you for real?
He nods his head. Major Tourette's, remember? I was covering my mouth. I could hear my own voice.
At the
Or,
time, you
not
weren't
my voice.
talking anymore.
No, I was. So I was covering my mouth.
I could have sworn that he was stopped cursing before we ever came outside.
Nah, he continued it again.
Oh.
It was just this big screwy situation, I'll be honest.
Next time that the police come to investigate something, perhaps not running. I don't know if you've learned anything about predators, but if you flee a predator, it will chase you, whether it originally intended to or not.
He puts his head down as he types again, and he types, Kevin did say get out of here, and I don't know, I was just frantic, and so the first thing that came to mind was, get out.
Next time,
Yeah.
casual walk. Just around the corner. Just walk. If you aren't attracting their attention, they have no reason to take interest.
I guess you're right. Although, I don't usually get out much. It's not some common knowledge I have.
There's kind of an eye roll, and Lord knows where they came from, but, I mean, she probably has them stashed everywhere. A Skittle will kind of boink off his forehead as you'll realize she has found a bag somewhere, and it is in her hands now.
He kind of looks back over
Even
her with
on
a
TV.
semi-annoyed glare.
Even on TV. How many smooth motherfuckers get away from the police by taking it at a casual stroll? No excuses.
I don't watch TV.
Silly. You can't possibly have spent years in front of, I assume, a computer screen, Mr. Hacker, without even watching YouTube or Netflix.
No, I read books.
You spend all your time in front of digital media and you read books.
Yes, I find them quite entertaining. Especially poetry. And classic
You can't
literature.
possibly have spent that much time in front of a computer and not watched random things on YouTube.
I'm sorry it's out of your fathom of thinking.
Kelly just goes, whoo! Whoo! Smirks over at Morgan. I ain't saying anything.
This is why you're a moron.
He smiles at her. But the amount of books I read said otherwise.
The amount of books you read obviously isn't helping because you're still making moronic mistakes.
Let him read
Like
his
selling
book.
your voice to a kitsune.
Let him read his books. That's what he wants to do.
She finally
really
is starting to
simple
look the tiniest bit annoyed and kind of humps, pops in a Skittle into her mouth.
I am really but a simple person with a simple lifestyle.
And a simple mind,
Morgan.
grumbles.
He just kind
You
of
don't-
annoyed
don't-
glares at her.
Morgan. She'll look over. Don't insult the guests, remember?
Grumbles more.
Would a simple mind really be taking down the current head of office? He asks.
The head of a what office?
Oh, I'm taking down the mayor.
Why?
Well, that's for other reasons.
If you're doing it for the wrong reason, then yes.
Well, not for the wrong reason. He is doing some rather shady things with the money that he's earning right now.
So he's a politician.
Yeah, but I don't like it whenever someone who claims, say, helping others, then puts the same money in their pocket and raises the taxes for more money in the pocket. It's not my current fondness. I don't like cheaters like that.
So what's going to happen when you replace him?
Oh, I'm not replacing him. I'm just going to make it to where he can't run anymore.
So he'll be
Legacy.
replaced by another politician who is equally crooked.
I might find there's a person who has an idea for that, but he is but near nor there right now. But on the bright side, once he can't run anymore, I'll be donating most of his money back to the people and charity. I prefer to give back. It's not nice to take. He just kind of smiles at them.
Just be aware that he's just one thing. They'll find another.
And he smiles. Then I'll put a back door on them too. It's really easy.
And you'll run out of politicians in no time.
And he smiles. Yes.
Do you
Eventually.
have a long game, or are you just going to target individual people with no
He
larger
smiled.
plan?
He definitely smiles at Morgan with a more creepy smile this time. Oh, there's a long game. There's a long game.
Bringing anarchy is not something that serves us.
Oh, he looks at Callie with a head shake and types, No, no, no. No, no, no. Not chaos. No. Yes, chaos must come before the eye of the storm. But once we reach there, peace will finally be upon us. And it'll make your little bookshop here a little bit easier to run. I'm helping out all businesses in a way like that.
Kai just shrugs, looking over her shoulder at Morgan.
Morgan is... Man, these Skittles, though.
I wish you luck.
Why, thank you. You'll be earning money in no time.
Well, I believe Morgan and I have an issue to discuss, and it would
Yes.
be better that it would be in private.
He does kind of look back at Morven and like, yeah, privacy doesn't really seem like a common sort here, but I can see you guys do need to talk.
Just nod.
Kind of stands up and gives her a little head bow. Thanks so much for the tea. It was really good.
No problem.
I guess I'll be off then.
Smiles, inclines her head.
Yep, there will be an idle kind of disengaged wave from Morgan.
He just kind of walks down the stairs. Have fun, you guys. Especially you, Morgan. Then leaves.
And with an eye roll fit to tilt the earth off axis, I dare say I'd probably call this one a scene.
Yes.
So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you next time in Darkness in Dublin, the Mage venue.